Good morning again, Riverside families. Today I want to talk to you just for a moment about Pentecost. Now we're all wearing red, or a lot of us are wearing red for Pentecost because that's the liturgical color of the day. But I kind of want to paint Pentecost today. I've been doing a lot of painting. I've been painting animals and flowers, all kinds of things during this time at home. And there's another kind of painting where you're not really trying to paint something that people recognize. You recognize that's a pigeon, you recognize that's a turtle, there's my humpback whale and American bison. But if I want to paint Pentecost, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Here, take a look. I'm going to start my Pentecost painting with people. There were people gathered that day, Galileans who had been with Jesus for a long time. They had seen him talk about love and justice and fairness, and they were gathered together remembering him. Maybe they were singing, praying, taking communion. But they knew that something was coming. They didn't know exactly what to expect, but Jesus had told them to expect someone called the Comforter, the Advocate. Who or what is that? They were probably a little bit afraid too, because if you were associated with Jesus back then, you were associated with danger and people wanted you out. Isn't that funny? Jesus went around talking about love and justice and fairness, and people thought he was dangerous. Well, I guess he was dangerous to the people in power who didn't want anything to change, the people who benefited from the system. Jesus was kind of dangerous to them. So they sat and they waited. And the Holy Spirit, as you know, comes in very interesting and mysterious ways. The Holy Spirit is invisible. So how would the Holy Spirit show up on the day of Pentecost? How would the Holy Spirit make herself known? Well, the Holy Spirit showed up first in the form of wind. Like wind, the Holy Spirit is invisible. Wind has tremendously powerful abilities. Wind can form tornadoes and hurricanes. Wind can cause waves to crash on land. Wind can pick up buildings and cars. And yet wind can also be gentle enough to fly a kite or create a summer breeze to keep us all a little bit cooler. Wind is strong and gentle, just like the Holy Spirit. Now, the Holy Spirit came in another way. The violent wind came and shook them all up. I'm sure they were very afraid. But then it changed, and soon the Holy Spirit came in the form of fire. Now, the fire didn't appear on just one apostle or on one person. The fire appeared on everyone. Little bits of fire, tongues of fire on each person's head without burning them. It must have been majestic to see these little tongues of fire on everyone's head. Now, fire also reminds me of the Holy Spirit. You can't really hold fire. You can't contain fire. Fire is impossible to hold in your hand, but it burns things up. It makes massive change. It cleans things. You know how if you cook a food hot enough, it can kill germs. If you boil water long enough, you can drink pure water. Fire has the ability to clean things up, and the Holy Spirit can certainly help us do that. The Holy Spirit came in the form of wind and fire. And that's what I painted today. So here you have it. A little bit of abstract art to remind us that God comes in many different ways to many different people. I hope you find a little bit of God around you today.